Say you feel your soul is down. I wanna pick it up. Give your mind and heart a break. Quit all that stress and
Hello, America, and welcome to episode 7 of the B Locke Show. If you're tuning in, thank you. Let's get started. So unfortunately, we have some sad news to report. In Beirut, Lebanon, a huge explosion at the port of Lebanon has killed 135 people to date and injured 5,000 people. Watch this clip.
Look closely and you can see what happened. This is the port as a fire rages, popping and sparking. The flames swell to a noisy roar until the second blast. Other angles show the blast wave crumbling buildings like sandcastles. Traveling faster than the speed of sound, people couldn't get out of the way of the blast. Then came the bang.
As you can see, this explosion was devastating. We here at the B Locke Show want to extend our deepest condolences to anyone that was hurt or injured or that lost anyone, and our prayers and thoughts will be with all the families. So in other news, Donald Trump oversaw the swearing in of the first African American chief of the Air Force. Watch this.
I, General Charles Q. Brown, Jr., do solemnly swear
I, General Charles Q. Brown, Jr., do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Hi, my name is Danielle Mitchell, and I am the owner and marketing strategist of Average Black Girl, which is also known as the plug for all of your Black girl boss needs. So what does that mean? Well, we believe that marketing is how you are able to grow and scale your business. So we are that marketing resource center. Whether you need online courses at Above Average University, or if you need templates, books on how to have workbooks and planners and all those different things that you need within your business, you can get those things at aboveaveragestore.com, or you can go over to our blog, averageblackgirl.com.
Hello, America. I'm very excited to introduce my guest, Danielle Mitchell, owner of Average Black Girl. Just to give you a rundown of her wonderful resume, she has over 20,000 followers on her Facebook site, Average Black Girl. She helps market and grow businesses to get to a place where they are making a profit. She sells clothing, cups, coffee mugs, phone cases, digital products, workbooks, and she offers online courses. She has a 5 out of 5 rating on Facebook, and if you go on her site, she has tons of inspirational and knowledgeable videos on a variety of topics. You actually also have a really exciting announcement that just happened today.
Yes, I just finalized completing a website with the Thornton Township School of Trustees. So that is like my first quote-unquote government contract, so that's exciting. And so Thornton comes up with a variety of different South suburban communities, so South Holland, Harvey, Dalton, Homewood, and then also the Calumet Township is under there, as well as the Thornton Township High School. So the Thornwood, the Thornridge, and the Thornton. So every school district has a school of trustees where they kind of meet, they vote on what are some of the regulations, what are some of the processes and procedures that they're doing all around the different education stimulus so that things are all kind of together and we're moving ahead. So every town has that, and so I'm really excited that I was able to do that website.
That's awesome news. I'm really excited for you.
you.
Let's go ahead and get started. First thing I want to ask you is, what made you start Average Black Girl?
So for me, I think that I started my business as a lot of people start their business. And it's because of something that was just kind of gnawing on your heart of you having to do something. So for me, my moment that changed my mindset was Trayvon Martin and that whole situation. During that time, I was just started working for Coca-Cola in Orlando, Florida, and that happened in Sanford, which is literally the next town over. And I was living not even in Orlando, I was living in Maitland, so I was even closer to that area. It's literally like the next town over. And there was just so many similarities, you know. I was wearing my college hoodie still. I lived in a gated community. It was just so many similarities that I was engulfed with that case. After the case was over and everything, I had to figure out what I needed to do something. So at first, you know, you just going to do something, right? So you don't know what, but you're figuring it out. So at first I was going to change.org, and I would just kind of make it a day. I would go to work, and then I would come back, and I would like apply for what I felt was right and everything like that, thinking that something was going to happen. So fast forward to now I'm in, so I've moved from Orlando to Miami, and then Miami to Atlanta, all still working with Coca-Cola.
Right.
So now I'm in a situation where I had my first bout of racism, if you will, right? I don't really talk about it because my company sided with me. So there's really like, so I love me some Coca-Cola, right? But it happened. It happened. It was a situation where my boss, she was not treating me fairly. And my coworker, who was an older white gentleman, told me, he was like, look, the only difference is you 24 and I'm 70. Like, this is not how it's supposed to go.
Right.
Take it how you want. So I called my friend's mom, who was a really great lawyer, and she walked me through everything, how to like beat my case, how to get my data and everything. I presented it, and they were like, okay, we found fault. You're not going to be under her. We're going to move you. So I was able to apply, and I landed in Atlanta. Okay. So while I was there, you know, I was okay with my job, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And so there, I was like, this is my second time to figure out what I can do that I really like. And that's where I birthed Average Black Girl. So in Atlanta, and I really enjoy Atlanta, that area, that community just really birthed creatives. It's really great for Black entrepreneurs. I stand by that. But for me, I started while I was working. And during that time, I figured out, you know, I have all these different experiences working with these great brands. I'm going to be in a situation where I'm going to provide that to smaller businesses. I did that for about 6 months, and then I was in a situation where I decided to just kind of try, right? Coke was still one of those companies that did pensions, so I took out my pension, had about $5,000, and I was like, I'm either going to flip it or I'll go get another job. And so I've been able to really grow since there. And I had really supportive parents that allowed for me to move back in and figure out what I needed to do without the pressure of, you got to go after X amount of months or whatever. So I was able to really grow my business, pivot, figure out what's going to work for me.
Really quick.
As well as travel.
Going back, you said you had to move back in with your parents. I know for one, a lot of people don't have that option. Right. But two, you know, a lot of people, I think when they're older, 26, 27, they feel like ashamed, I guess, to say to move back in. Can you talk about that a little bit? About how, even though, you know, you were living back with your parents, like, how that helped you? Absolutely. If you are starting a business and you don't have consistent income, you got to figure it out, right? It's either going to come from you maybe doing unemployment for a little bit until that runs out. It's going to be you getting a loan. It's going to be you trying to raise funds, or it's going to be you eliminating expenses. So it's like one of the other things. And so there's nothing ashamed about doing something new. Now for me, and probably a lot of people that are my age and younger, there was a generational like issue, right? They were still supportive, but it was a little like sometimes those backhanded comments or like they just didn't understand because my parents came from a generation where you work in one position for 5 years and then you get a promotion. You know what I mean? Yeah. This was all kind of brand new to them. Right. But you know, for me, I was doing a event in Richmond Park Library in November, and
I had like I was doing like free trainings, right? Just trying to build my brand, build my email list, all that stuff. And this lady was older, and she called WVON and shouted me out. At that same time, my dad was listening to the radio and heard her.
Oh, wow.
So he like pulled us aside, like, I just heard you on the radio.
Validation.
That's my baby. And then he's been like on board ever since.
Right.
I'm like, so it's like a stranger, like not me quitting my job or moving back across country or anything like that. But it took that. And so he's been on board ever since.
Okay.
He's actually been like as my advisor because, you know, not every contract is a good contract. So he helps. So I'm grateful for that. But who knows where we would be if I didn't have like that.
That was like the turning point.
That was the turning point. But all these contracts are my employees, or you know, I still am working for someone.
For yourself. So
it's just working for yourself. But at the end of the day, like still, these companies are paying me just in a different way.
Right.
But I'm still in the same industry. It's not like I left and I'm like doing something completely different. Just going
you
about
just started your own lane.
I'm just starting my own lane. I'm able to hire virtual assistants or other people to kind of work under me. That's more money but less work. And I'm able to pitch bigger contracts than what would have probably been justified as my salary, especially back then.
Right. Oh. that was awesome, America. That's a great start. Question 2. So what would you say are the challenges or have been the challenges of being an entrepreneur, and what would you say have been the rewards? And then that's the first part.
Okay.
And then second part of that question is, as a black-owned business, the same question.
Okay. So I think that the challenges, especially, and I'm going to just start it for like black people, especially black women, but black people in general, we tend to not charge enough. So one contract I got, I like sent my proposal and they paid me, but on the phone it was like, that's all you want? That's when I knew, like, thank you for telling me. Like, I was like, thank you so much to my mentor that like told me. But I was like, for this next contract, I'm coming harder because obviously there's an issue, there's a gap, there's a miss in what I'm perceiving as the work and what they were ready to pay, right? And so,
can I ask something? Why do you think that is? Why do you?
It's a mental thing.
Okay.
It's a mental thing. Like you gotta just go for it instead of thinking that you have to have all these different quote unquote mastery levels. That's not real, right? The goal is, and that's what I tell people, the goal is to teach somebody that the old you 5 years from now, right? The me today, I don't need my services because I know everything that I know. But the me 5 years ago, I need everything that I have right now. And it's the same thing, doing your due diligence. See what's on. So for me, what I go to is I go on the government, SBA.gov, and I look and see what are the different government contracts being pitched for. So then you can kind of just get an idea. Like, okay, CPS is looking for a website master. Okay, I can see what that looks like. Now I can go and just kind of use that number as I pitch for everybody.
Okay.
You know, when it's negotiating, people can bring it down, they can go up. Like, it's not just a one-stop shop, it's negotiating, but understanding what that looks like. I think that a lot of other people, they don't think of the long-term goal, right? Your goal is not to have something for one time.
Right.
It's a good, better, best. What does it look like when you're working with somebody for 6 months?
Right. Okay.
That's when you can really up the amount, right? Or what does that look like when you're working with somebody for 3 months or whatever? When you have these programs, is your program 1 week or is your program 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 12 weeks? That's when you can kind of figure it out. And so I think that a lot of people, one, we just have an issue with pricing ourselves, and we want to help everybody, right? There's this, I want to help everybody, so I'm gonna make my book $2. That's a lot of sales you gotta make in order to pay a bill with $2 when you can just make it $57 or $47 or $35 plus. You can sell an online course or a consulting, and now it's $150, and you can't get that by offering low ticketed items. If that's it, you can offer low ticket items, but you need to have that high ticket offer.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't see the two, and it's like you can get a contract and that can pay all your bills, and now you can run $1 sales all week long if you want because you're already good.
Right.
But what you do a lot of times is you are trying to sell. It's the end of the month. Now you're desperate, and people don't buy from desperate because you're doing things that you don't normally do. You're sending emails with typos. You're forgetting stuff, because you're just in a situation of desperate. So I think that is an issue. And I also think that having a job in corporate does help because you can see a lot of things. Like when I have clients, I can tell the people that have a corporate experience and the people that don't. And it's just a lot of like self-accountability. You teach things. I don't think that that is a waste of time. It's just they're learning systems that you're going to eventually have to have in your business anyway.
America, I hope you're taking notes. Because she just throwing golden nuggets
Well,
out.
that's the issue.
So those are
Right.
some challenges. So what would you say are some rewards?
So one of the rewards is flexibility. I think that that's what a lot of people enjoy with being an entrepreneur. Like you could work anywhere. Like I said, I was in Nigeria. I was still working.
Mm-hmm.
I never stopped. It's just the time frame. As long as I have a computer, it doesn't matter. And I bring my computer everywhere. I brought my computer here just in case something pops off. Like I need to be able to get to it. That's the one thing that like is an issue, quote unquote. But I think it's flexibility.
Okay.
I've taken my computer to Jamaica. Like I've taken it so many places. And everybody know if Danielle's coming, we just make sure we got Wi-Fi because she gonna need to like at least in the morning check for a little bit and then go back.
Right.
So I think that's great. I think that also one of my most rewarding things is being flown to Ghana. So I went to Ghana in 2018 for free. They flew me out to speak at a conference. It was called the African Entrepreneurship Conference.
Wow.
So I was there for 1 week and 5 days.
Okay.
Again, all expense paid. And that was like a highlight. Another highlight is Chicago Ideas Week. So that happens every October in Chicago. So I spoke and had my own workshop.
Okay.
So those are two things that like are really great.
Those are two great things. Wow.
So I think that that's great. And then also pitching yourself. Like last year, I was working for a hair company, and then they made me a model. So like I can put that on my list now.
Right.
So all these things come from just again being in the room at the right time, but also just showing your worth. It's like, oh, you're smart, but I like the way your hair looks with this. Let's go ahead and push you in there. That's fun to me. Those are things that I would have never experienced had I only just been in one corporate job and not looked for anything else.
So what advice would you give? Let's say someone has an idea or a business that they're currently working on. What advice would you give? If you could tell someone like just 3 quick things that you think would help them improve their business, what would those 3 things be?
1, get it official on paper. I say give yourself 6 months to figure out if this is what you want to do or not. On that 7th month, open a bank account, get your EIN, get all that stuff together. Even if you're quote unquote not making money, in 4 years when you are, you'll get approved for everything because you have that history, right? Like we're in a pandemic right now. And I've been approved for the PPP, the EIDLA, like literally everything I apply for, I'm getting approved. And it's because I have 4 years of bank account experience. And my dad actually drove me to the bank, gave me $100, was like, here, open it. And I was just like, okay, whatever. Now I'm good. But that first year, I probably made like, what, $8,000, if that, like super poverty line. But now we've been able to pretty much double every year, and now we're in a good place. So I think 1, go ahead and get it official, and don't get caught up on the name. Like I just knew when I started that I was gonna have this like Black Business Directory. It's gonna be called Melanin Business. So my company technically is called Melanin Business. But then I went and trademarked Average Black Girl when I figured that we're going to do a pivot, and she was more profitable. Which brings me to number 2. How are you going to make money? You can't just think about how you're going to change the world or whatever. How are you going to make money? And start with what you're good at. You know, if you're good at accounting, it's okay to have some accounting people or teach financial wellness. If you're good at teaching, have some courses. We're in a pandemic. Everybody needs to know how to teach their children or to engage online. If you're good at that, why not sell that in addition to what you're doing? Like, just it doesn't have to be so complicated. I think that I want to have the next Facebook, and that's great. However, having a consistent income is more important, in my opinion, because once you have money, you're able to really be creative versus in survival mode. And there's a difference of the amount of things that you can do when you're in survival and not. And I know I've been in both. I've been in situations where I'm barely making everything ends meet, and then I've been in situations where I can have a team and do a powwow and really map out what the quarter is going to be, and I know what every other week I'm having a master class and what it's going to look like. And that's because I've been able to take a minute and breathe and have my head above water. And it's only because I started honing in on what I'm good at, raising my prices, and then packaging them. so I can do less, right? Everybody should have one $5,000 to $10,000 offer. If you can go for 20, go for that, right? And then you can have one $1,500, and then one $500, and then one, either $100 or $20 offer. Now you can figure that out. Okay, I need 2 $5K offers to make all of my monetary goals. And then I can sell maybe 10 books for $47 and then 20 books for $11.11. Right. Now you can kind of map out what you're looking for. And again, everybody's not going to be your 5 or 10K offer. You should be pitching people every week because they're not going to be coming all the time. But if you continue to pitch, you're good. And then that also leads me to the third thing that you want to know, and that's learning your target audience and how people respond to sales. A lot of people think, okay, it's hunter method. I have a gun, I shoot my target, boom, we're sold. 30% of those people buy, right? That type of salesman happens 30% of the time. 70% of the time is what we call the farmer or the grower method, where you have to constantly cultivate your audience. You're constantly showing them who you are. That's why people go live and they're teaching on a different type of topic. They're teaching. They want you to know, like, and trust them. Know you enough that you feel like you know me. Trust me enough to give me your money and not feel weird. And then get into the point where once you trust me, you're going to abide by what I say and follow the rules so you get the results that you are looking for, right? That's the whole goal. So you understand that's going to come, and sometimes with social media it's faster and sometimes it's longer. So with lives, you can maybe get that faster, getting people to know you and all that stuff. But with all the noise and media, before, according to the advertising analytics, you had to meet and touch points with somebody 7 times, right? And that's either you're recommending me, I'm meeting you at an event, all these type of things. Right. Now with all the noise, sometimes it's longer, and then sometimes it's shorter. Okay. But that's why you continue to pitch and post daily, because that's what you're doing. It's not that people are being annoying, it's that they're selling to people and you're not their target audience. But they're continually doing it so that when you do get ready for that payday or that stimulus or whatever drops, they know, oh, that person's on top of my mind. Let me go and make sure that I follow up with you.
Right. Wow. Thank you so much for, I felt like I learned so much from that. I hope you learned something today. Let's have some fun. Okay. Last question. Just a crazy question.
Yes.
I love Marvel. My audience knows that I love Marvel. If you could be any Avenger, and I'll say any Marvel character, just to give you, because I want to give you a large library to choose from. If you could be any Marvel character, or if any Marvel character describes who you are, who would that be?
I would say Wolverine. And I'm gonna say Wolverine.
That's an interesting. Why Wolverine?
I'm gonna say Wolverine because when you first see him, you don't know. You're not expecting him to be who he is. And then when he turns into go mode and, his little spikes come out and everything, now you're in a situation. So I feel like that's how I am. Like, people look at me and they're not 100% sure what's going to happen or what that looks like. Okay. And then, I come and I'm ready. I'm full of knowledge. I'm going to make sure that I have good customer service. Like, all the things that you think won't have.
I'm not sure if anybody would describe Wolverine as having good customer service.
Well, he's full of surprises. I'm put it that way.
Okay. Danielle, thank you so much for coming on to the B Locke Show. America, I hope you enjoyed what you've watched. We're going to come right back. So in sports, the NBA has shown that they have been able to continue to have a successful continuing of the NBA season. Last night, we had an exciting night, including a game-winning shot by Devin Booker against the Los Angeles Clippers.
Find an advantage somewhere. Rubio walled off, puts up a wild shot, no. And how about Ivica Zubac with the rebound, but throws the outlet away, and the Suns have it. 6 to play. Booker, this is for the win. Got it! Wow!
What a shot by Devin Booker right there. Unbelievable play. But again, that's what the great players do. They find a way.
The ruling on the floor is made basket.
that is good for sure. What a shot. Devin Booker today puts the Suns now 3-0 in the bubble.
Thanks for watching episode 7 of the B Locke Show. As always, stay safe, stay informed, stay united. Have a good night.
Let the music take you away. 'Cause you can search all over for your happiness, but you won't find it till you look inside.